I'd like to thank y'all for showing up, coming out. We think this message is pretty important to get out, especially with it being hurricane season. So we're going to just start by introducing people that's been a part of the board. Of course, we have Mayor Allen here. We have Judge Simmons, Fire Chief Pardo, Sergeant Garrett, and Mr. Glover, who just left the room. Emergency preparedness, we put together an emergency preparedness team, and we've started already putting some things into play to get it where it's going to be for the city of Prairie. I was here during the last hurricane, and I went to all the meetings, and once those meetings were over with, they told us that they'll be able to supply us with this, they'll be able to supply us with this. Well, when it came down to it, those supplies were gone. And there's nothing like having your own resources. And there's nothing like having your resources in place, because we are here to help the people here in Prairie. I've talked to Sergeant Garrett and Chief Pardo, and at least on 2 occasions here, we've had someone who was stuck in a car out in a flood, and we were waiting for somebody to bring us something, a boat or whatever we needed to get out there and get that person. And we don't want any of our citizens to be that person. We want to be able to help them at the time that they need that help. And so that's part of the reason why we've put this together. We have made some huge strides with our meetings on starting to get equipment, starting to locate places for shelters. We've even spoken with our animal shelter guy, who he'll attend our next meeting. He's going to shelter animals for us. And you know, some people have service animals, so those service animals will be with them. But this is where, because you have a lot of people who will not leave their residence if they're not sure that their animal is going to be okay. So we're going to be able to do those things too. So our mission is just, you got to get on the ball with that. There you go. Well, our mission is to provide programs and activities for the city residents and departments to help them prepare and cope with and recover from the effects of a natural and/or man-made disaster. It's too many times these things happen, and we're just not been prepared. Been talking to different citizens, been talking to emergency services here in Prairie, and we just haven't been able to provide that stability. And we're not thinking about it, we're not hopeful, we're going to start providing that. So we become a resource for other cities in this county, instead of becoming someone who's looking for those resources. We're going to become those resources, because it's not that difficult. We have a 1033 program that allows us to get equipment. We have other programs. We started looking into things where we can bring this equipment in, and it's not going to cost us a ton of money to do so. And for your safety, that's it's countless for your safety. So, Judge, you got going there? Okay, Judge is working on PowerPoint. There's at least 4 phases to preparedness. Is preparedness, response, recovery, and mitigation. In all those areas, we've started to work on that. What we are here today is we are looking for volunteers and commitments from the community. We have Ms. Miller, who's here today. She's going to be our volunteer coordinator. She's certified, and we're going to utilize whoever we can in the community to help us out, because in case of a disaster, we're going to need everyone. Because what we learned from Harvey is that it's not just first responders. It's not just the first responders. We need people helping people. I don't think there's ever been a time where there's ever been a hurricane where we've seen more people come from different places, bringing their boats, bringing their big trucks, helping people. Because by the time it got so bad, it just wasn't enough first responders to go around without having to wait. And so people started to come with their own equipment to help us out. And so I think we learned that from Harvey, and we learned that as first responders, we can't do this ourselves. I've been a part of a CERT and been part of incident command for a very long time. These are the things that we want to train our volunteers and our first responders on. So that means that we will Chief will talk to you in a minute about CERT and about how CERT works and about how we're going to go about getting people trained. There's also NIMS training, which is on our website. So I was to give you this introduction. The Chief is going to start talking to you about the CERT team, and then after that, any questions that you may have, we'll come back and answer any of those questions you may have. Chief?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Like Chief Solomon said, Judge, get this up and running. But it's all good because I can talk to you about the CERT program without the PowerPoint. But first of all, I want to explain to each and every one of you what the CERT program that the Emergency Operations Center team decided to go with. CERT stands for Community Emergency Response Team. Basically, we are trying to form up a team that consists of Prairie View citizens to help us out in a time of natural disaster, man-made disaster, whatever it might be. We need to be ready for that disaster. And I'm all on board with the mayor, city council, as well as Chief Solomon and the rest of the emergency management staff. We need to take care of our house. We need to take care of Prairie View. We need to make sure that everybody know that Prairie View can take care of themselves, as well as they have the resources, not only to take care of their own, but to also branch out and help others. So we're all for that, and we want to make sure that we take Prairie View to the next level when it comes to emergency management. And now that the judge has this up and running, we can see if we can make this flow a whole lot smoother. So Chief Solomon, he talked to you about the 4 phases, which is preparedness, mitigation, recovery, and response. So now, I don't know what the next slide was, but we did talk about what CERT stands for, Community Emergency Response Team. This is it right here. Okay. I don't think I'm gonna need this microphone. I think my voice can echo loud enough for everybody to hear me. But going with what we came up with, we wanted to let you know that the Community Emergency Response Team is here to educate volunteers about disaster preparedness for the hazards that may impact their area and train them in basic disaster response skills, as well as fire safety, light search and rescue, team organization, and disaster medical operations. Now we're going to go into the background. The background of the CERT system was basically developed and implemented by the Los Angeles City Fire Department during their time of a major disaster of an earthquake that happened back in 1985. The Los Angeles Fire Department, even though they knew they were a big fire department, they realized that they needed more assistance when it came to a major disaster. So they went to take it to the next step by forming up a CERT system. Since 1993, this training has been made available nationally by FEMA. Communities in 28 states and Puerto Rico have conducted this CERT training to members of their community, as well as fire and emergency medical and emergency management. Next. So I already spoke about that. Now, during this training that I'm hoping, not only do I have the volunteer support and response from ladies and gentlemen that's already in here to be a part of this program, but I want you to grab some more folks, because we don't need all the assistance, and we want people within this city to be a part of the community emergency response team. The type of training, hands-on and realistic exercise that you will be learning is how to safely respond to a man-made natural hazard, help organize basic disaster response, and we're talking about things from when you have a hurricane that has hit the city of Prairie View and you got power lines down, you got trees all over the places, you might have people who need evacuation. Those are the kind of things that we want to be able to teach and train everybody to assist us, as well as it promotes preparedness by hosting and participating in community events. So it don't necessarily have to be a natural disaster. One of the biggest events that's coming up soon, October, homecoming, Prairie View A&M University. And you know, this is my only 4th year being out here in Prairie View. So, but from what I'm seeing, it grows larger and larger every year. So, and Chief Solomon, to you, as well as to Mayor, to all the law enforcement staff, y'all do an excellent job in maintaining crowd control and all that, making sure the security is there. So the fire department, we want to be able to assist as far as the emergency management is concerned, and to all the citizens that help out with those homecoming events, keep up the good work. Next one. So in your community emergency response team, some of the things you will be learning how to do is disaster preparedness, fire suppression. Now, I want to speak on that a little. We're not training you to be a firefighter. That's where you leave that part to me. What we're training you to do is just basically how to, there's a small little fire, how to grab a fire extinguisher, put it out right quick, and then help out evacuating or with the injured, something like that. Then you're going to be doing, learning medical operations. You're going to learn, there's 2 parts of that. You want to learn, you're going to also be learning about life search and rescue operation, psychology and team organization, as well as you'll be doing a course review and disaster simulation. So all throughout this training, you'll be learning these different type of techniques, and then at the end, we give we're supposed to put on a disaster type simulation and let you handle it. See what you can do, see what you have learned.
I would like,
Go ahead.
I would like for you to add, when you're doing that light search and rescue,
Yes,
one
ma'am.
of the other things that they emphasize is observation.
Observation. Everything.
Is because before you even attempt anything, you need to observe, and we
Right.
weren't very good at that when I did mine.
Right. I like that. And that's basically, like she said, situational awareness, scene safety. I'm going to add that. Next one, Judge. All right, so there is supplemental training out there that I would like for us to eventually add on to the community emergency response team, and that is traffic and crowd management. That would be beneficial during homecoming event time. Then you got your flood response, how to deal with a flood within the area. And then last but not least, I see within this crowd, just within this crowd, I see some folks that can tell us to step back and let you take the lead. That's where that last one comes into place. Train the trainer. We train you, then you become trained enough to take it to the next person, to the next level. So our job as the emergency management team, and under the direction of the mayor and Chief Solomon, our goal is to make sure that we train you properly so that you can step up to the plate, so that when others come in, you have that instruction, you have that lead to start training folks. All right, this video, what I'm about to show you, It's 19 minutes long. I don't know if we're gonna show the whole thing. We'll probably show a good 10 minutes of it, but we're almost at the end. But basically, this video is gonna show you how a CERT team responds and how they are involved in the community dealing with a emergency response incident. So, and we pray that it will work. And I want to thank this young lady for adding that small portion in there of the situation awareness, scene safety. That's very important.
Only because we died, did I know that.
Hold on, I'm gonna try to access it.
Okay. While she's working on that, do anybody have any questions for, I do have a question for everybody. Can I just get a show of hands? How many people have NIMS training? NIMS 100, 200, 700, 800? Well, that's something you'll be involved with if you decide to be a part of, and let me change that around. I'm not gonna say if you decide, we already decided for you. You're gonna be a part of our community emergency response team. So that's something, as Chief Solomon said, is already on the website. All you have to do is go there, and you said it's the front page of the website.
Yeah.
Click on NIMS and start the training online for NIMS 100. And that's part of emergency management. That's part of incident command system. It gives you the ability to understand the lingo that the judge or the mayor or Chief Solomon or myself, if we're talking incident command, you'll have an understanding of incident command. So I have a couple people that said they already have taken that course, and that's good because you can help out others.
So if you've taken the course and you've already been certified in it, you want us to still go back and
No ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No ma'am.
thank you.
No.
If
You
you're,
want me to days
You know,
updated on?
Not everybody has access to good internet.
Okay.
like we
And
know.
that gal, I'm sorry, I don't know her name, but the one that's over there by the university that does SBA or whatever she is, do you know who I'm talking about?
Ms. Ross?
Okay.
Bridget Ross?
She has a computer room that she's offered to me before, that we can go in and use the computers when she has high-speed internet. So maybe you could ask if we could go there.
So this is a quick video we're going to show for about roughly 10 minutes, and then we're going to go into the questions answer to the mayor, Chief Solomon, or any other personnel. And I keep forgetting my...
Communities are susceptible
We already all know about the
to
internet
many types of
in the city of
disasters.
Prairie, so you just have to work with us.
Some, such as floods, earthquakes, tornadoes, and hurricanes, are natural. While others, such as nuclear power sources,
I think they paused it for a little bit. But what, just those first few seconds, you understand that some of the things that they were showing, you know, these are real case scenarios as well as things that some of you have already seen, and looking at the news and things like that, we have already are aware of. These are the type of disasters we must be prepared for. We can't wait till it happens. We must be prepared before it happens.
and hazardous materials emergencies are man-made. Some parts of the country will experience disasters that others will never see, like mudslides, winter storms, and volcanoes, while others, like flooding or windstorms, can strike most anywhere. When disaster strikes, emergency services personnel respond immediately. We count on their training and equipment to handle these situations. However, depending on the impact, emergency responders may not be able to quickly get to every one who needs help. That's where community emergency
Pause right there, Judge. Let me catch up. Let me speak on that part. So I'm gonna just pick up where the narrator is saying, this is where you come into play. This is where the community emergency response team, and I'm gonna even add something even better to that. This is where Prairie View the City of Prairie View Community Emergency Response Team come into play. You guys. First responders, we are public works, we are going to try our best to be everywhere throughout the city when there's a natural disaster. But our hands are going to be tied because we're looking to do the emergency components right off the bat. You, each and every one of you, your role in this is to give us help. To help us to be in locations where we can't be at that particular time. This is where you're going to come into play. And you're going to see how, after this catch up a little, you're going to see how the citizens jump into action to help out. But I wanted to pause it right there because I wanted to show you this was just simple. This is CERT, C-E-R-T, in action. I want to see City of Prairie View, CERT, in action. Each and every one of you. So like they say, we're going to go ahead and claim this. City of Prairie View Emergency Management, CERT, in action. So when we pass this sheet around, you should be signing up. Matter of fact, we're going to close all the doors. We're not going to allow you to leave until you sign up.
Hold us hostages, is that what you said?
Amen.
response teams come in. CERTs are trained to search for and rescue people who might be trapped, to provide basic medical assistance, to put out small fires, and to handle other small incidents before more injuries or damage occur. By using the skills and knowledge they learned in training, CERT members in a neighborhood, workplace, school, or other location can work as a team to help themselves and others until professional help arrives. That's what CERT is all about, making a difference when it is needed the most. We call it doing the greatest good for the greatest number.
And we can pause it right there. Folks, the bottom line is this. This is your home. I'm a visitor in your home. I've been here 4 years. I love coming out to Prairie View. On my days off, I come out to Prairie View. I stay at the fire station. Just 3 of us stay at the fire station. Me, myself, and I. Reverend Boundary, he can tell you, I got a cot that I sleep at the fire station. I have nothing. Yeah,
I've seen it.
right, it's not a comfortable one, but I have nothing else to do when I teach at Houston Community College. On my days off, and usually I have like 4 days off, I come out here because I love being out here. And when I'm out here, I try to do the best I can to help out in the community. When Chief Solomon asked me if I would like to be a part of emergency management, you know, of course I have to get my blessings from Chief Jackson because I do fall under his leadership. But at the same time, I was so ecstatic because this is something that falls right in my line of work. I've been in the fire service roughly 17 years. In those 17 years, I've learned and developed my strategies and tactics, my education, and so doing this is a blessing. And when I'm out here, I'm trying to work with the mayor, I'm trying to work with Chief Solomon, Public Works Glover. So, and not only, I don't call them the important people, but the citizens as well. Because each and every one of you are important. We need you. Bottom line, we need you. Chief Solomon is not going to go against that. I know the mayor is not going to go against it. Sergeant Garrett, anybody. We're not going to go against that. I don't know why these doors not closed and I don't see that paper going around yet, but we're going to work on that. But we need you. And not just you, we need you to go out and start grabbing some more folks. But we need outstanding citizens that's going to sit on this community emergency response team and get the job done. We don't have time to debate. We don't have time to go back and forth. We need people who's going to be on this, on board, and ready to rock and roll. Let's get this job done. Because remember, there's possible lives at stake. And we need to get our city back in order where if there is a disaster, we can't do nothing during the disaster, but after the disaster is over, we want to get our city back to normal, and we want to be able to make people feel comfortable. So at this time, we can move on to the next slide if you want to. That was just a little prelude of the CERT being in action. So my next slide is going to be questions and answers. And this is, well, it was there, Judge got rid of it, but it's the question and answer slide. So at this time, feel free. We're looking for questions and answers from you. Feel free to address Chief Solomon, me, Judge, whoever. Yes, sir.
So, in terms of training, what is the time allocation when it comes to getting trained?
We haven't decided that. We need to get together and put a good working schedule together, as well as the time, the days, and everything, so that it works for the individual to be able to make this successful.
So is it the training, is it based off of, you know, how long you're being trained, or are you completing certain tasks within the training?
Completing certain tasks within the training.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, with the NIMS training, you can actually go onto our website,
Yes.
and you can take that NIMS training on that website. It's about 30 minutes, and it will get you to the NIMS 100. It'll take you through all of those series. If you have any trouble with those, we will help you with those. Because we've talked a lot today about incident command. Incident command has so many levels to it. And we need everybody, and that's why we need you guys. Because not only, you guys have a stake in this community. We love this community. We come here every day. I've had relatives that have lived here. My father was actually born in Hempstead. So yeah, I have a stake in this community as well. But we need you guys, because when we start talking incident command, that level of contact and that level of getting us through a disaster and getting us back on our feet, it's a huge depth, and we need you guys.
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a Prairie View Emergency Management Instruction booklet available?
We have an emergency management plan workbook. Is that for the county or is that for the city?
And ma'am, that's one of the things that we're going to be doing here. The only thing I've ever seen was the county plan. The county plan is good. It has it's kind of a generic with most of what we should do in case of a disaster. But that's why we're here today, is because we want to put together a plan for this city and for the people of this for this city. And that's what we've been working on.
I think that's very important, because, you know, some of us be hands-on, and then if we're going to talk about this and try to get others involved,
Yes.
we need to also hand them something also.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have an age limit on the citizens who participate and become part of this team? Because, as you know, the Prairie community is full of senior citizens, and senior citizens have medical issues that come along with aging, but I noticed you hadn't mentioned that. So this means you're ready to take on any and everybody, no matter what condition or age.
As long as they're not an infant.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Because
Because
one of the things that I know Chief and I had a discussion on was we've got, as you say, some folks, but even the calling to check on people, you know, sort of like there's a role that they can play, maybe not the formal training certification,
Right.
but even, okay, this person is calling these 10 people, or they're calling each other to make sure everybody's okay and then report to whomever. Just little, they kind of get in where you fit in, but yeah, you got a good point.
And the mayor's exactly right, and that's the point we wanted to make. With all these levels, you know, we're gonna have, at shelters, we'll have Red Cross, and we'll need people at those shelters to check people in.
Yes.
We'll need people to do a lot of different things, make sure that we have enough equipment there. So just about being on the CERT team and going in and doing the search and rescue is not all it's about. And that's why we need you to go online to get the NIMS training. And once you've had that training, it will get you into those other things.
Yes.
So no, we don't expect everybody to go in the house and start packing people out and things of that nature, but we'll need you no matter what age you are.
Yeah, because what you're looking at really is a call tree system where you can just set it up to give to the members that can say you have from A to G, this the people that you contact. And then that team leader of that particular area would be the one that you report back to. Then you want to do those emergency drills where you get those drills done to help you be prepared at any time to know that this is a mock drill. So you have, you know, it's a lot involved with CERT as well as with emergency management systems, like you said. And just from my past experience, I know that, you know, the learning and the information that you have is so critical, especially for our community, because of the senior citizens that we do have that live here and the residents that have been here, and just the fact that we need to know how to get to one another, where they are, and where the command post will be, and who's going to be, you know, all the other positions that go along with it.
Yes.
So the last question that I have with that is, for those people that are going to actually become certified CERT members, they will, I mean, I had to store all the equipment I know we had where I used to previously work in my office. And we had the vests, the hats, you know, the helmets, the green helmets, CERT. Never fear, CERT is here. So that's what I would say. You know, we would be making some mock drills, or we would have to do some of the training with others. Because you do want to train others to know what to do.
Yes, ma'am.
So
That is correct.
they will get that.
Yeah, they will be provided, and these are the things that we will go back to our staff meeting and sit down and discuss with the necessary equipment that